So today we're going to be doing our first garden tour for the season. I am in zone 7A. I'm gonna start over here, which has most of the fruit trees. Everything is looking pretty good. Let's go over here and start from the top of the row. We have here a Nero Aronia berry, also from Start Bros. And we actually also have a dahlia here that a top piece of his branch broke off. I thought this was dead. When I checked the, what do you call it? When I checked the stem, I guess, of the plant and I did the scratch test, it was completely dead. I broke it off to the ground, and to my surprise, it is coming up nicely. This is one of the shorter varieties of aronia berries. They have another one that's supposed to get, I think, 6 to 8 feet tall. This one is supposed to top out at 4 feet tall. I've never had it, but the things that they say about it, like the antioxidant and stuff like that, I was really interested in trying that out. Here we have the dahlia that, as I show you, it broke off, but it's coming back up, so happy about that. We have a peach tree here. I originally had another full-grown peach tree. Oh, the Belle of Georgia. I accidentally ordered a full size, and this year I wanted to kind of replace all of my accidental orders of full size trees and replace them with dwarf varieties. I did not just toss those trees. I went ahead and either posted them on Marketplace, or I gave some of them away. This one is doing really well. I just planted this season, so for how late in the season it was planted, I think it's branching out nicely. You could, if you come up close, you could kind of see some peach buds here, and all of those little buds is going to turn into very, very small peaches. As you know, it takes years for the fruits to get up to full size, so we shall see how tiny these ones come out to be. This is a peony, I don't know how to say that correctly, but it's looking really nice and healthy. For most of these, I had plant tags there. You could see it right here, actually. So I had plant tags like this, and what happened was I did not see the plants coming up when I was expecting it to. So I removed them, and now they're coming up, and not only coming up, but like really doing amazing. This is a variety of alliums. I'm pretty sure it's purple, but again, we shall see. It's either purple or white. We have here, I think this is the Jonathan apple. Let me just double check. Yeah, this is the, yeah, Jonathan apple. This is another dwarf variety of apple. I pruned it along with the others, and the others are, you know, leafing out and all of that stuff. I think I pruned this a little bit too much, and it caused a lot of stress on the plant. But if you scratch it, you could tell that it's still alive. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Maybe it's a late bloomer. We shall see. Here we have a blueberry bush. This originally came from my mom's house in Brooklyn. It's doing okay. I think I'm gonna allow it to continue to grow for this season, but if I don't get much of anything off of it, I'm just going to take it out and replace it with another blueberry bush. And then here we have some lilac, just to have a little bit more color. I did a bit of pruning on this. This was the first year I pruned this plant, and I think it actually really needed it. It's leafing out so much more than it did the previous years, and I could see some nice pink action going on in here. So I think if I continue to maintain the lilac, it will bush out much better continuing into the years. Here we have a blueberry bush that is actually from my husband's mom, and it's doing okay. I think the issue with most of my bushes here It's because, and I clear this out often, but the rain and all of that stuff, and because the ground is slightly sloped, we get the mulch coming back near the base of the plant where I'm putting all the fertilizers and all of that there. And I think the mulch is kind of sucking up some of that nutrient. So I think that's what's happening here, but I gave it a small prune if I'm remembering correctly, and it's leafing out nicely. It's looking much better than the other one, so I think there's much more hope for this one than that one. And here we have the biggest accident of planting a full-grown standard tree. This is the Red Haven peach. I mean, when it blossoms out in the spring, it is beautiful, but this is definitely the tree that I'm going to have to keep on top of. It is leafing out really nicely, and if you come close, you could see little peaches are forming. Okay, so here's another one here. So we are getting peaches. They are not going to be that big, but there'll be peaches nonetheless. I did a little experiment on this tree to see if I can graft the Belle of Georgia onto this. Since I'm taking it out, I could get a 2-for-1 in the standard thing, but I think one of the branches may be alive. The other I don't have much hope for, but it's bendy, so it's still green inside, so fingers crossed, maybe one of them takes. And then here we have our little makeshift kind of fountain. I planted up the area with some tulips. This is the Sun Lover tulip, the double late. And let me just double check the other variety. So it's the Sun Lover and the yellow pomponette. I don't know, but yeah, I planted them up in the fall along with some alliums in the back. I believe these are either a mix of the white and purple or just the white. We have a pink lemonade blueberry here. It's very small. I'm thinking of actually taking that out and maybe nursing it in a small pot on its own. Like I said, I think the mulch is just taking nutrients from this plant. So after this season, I'm going to remove most, if not all, the mulch and just kind of mulch the beds with compost instead. Here we have our beautiful pink lady. Yep. Pink lady, a nice dwarf variety. Last year it was taken over by rust. I treated it with some bonide early in the season, and it's looking really good. I don't think I'm gonna have to do a second spray, but if I do, I am ready. It was miserable last year, but this year it's looking really, really happy. I have a pot here. I haven't decided what to plant in here. I don't know if you missed this, but I have some yarrow here that I transferred from the other side of the garden. This is the Colorado mix. Good job. Here we have the Gala dwarf apple. It's looking really, really good. No signs of apple yet, no blossoms, but I'm just really happy that the leaves look healthy. No signs of rust right now, and yeah. We have another yarrow here. I initially planted a lavender here, but that's dead, so I'm gonna pull that out and maybe put, I don't know, another lavender. Here we have another peach. This is an Intrepid peach. It was also this high. I planted it in the wrong area by where the kids play a lot, and it got a nice little haircut here, but it's still thriving. Leaves look nice and healthy. And let's see. And then we have another peony here. What else? Here we have the blueberry, the best of all our blueberries. It's looking really good, nice blossoms. I gave it a good amount of compost and also, I think, plant tone, some chicken manure, all of that stuff. So it's looking really good. I do need to find a permanent cage for it, something that could help keep it up. I currently have it tied to these little bamboo sticks, but they're doing the job right now. But I do think I need to upgrade her to something a little bit maybe prettier, something that could stay for good. In the corner here we have, I think this is the Arkansas. Yes, the Arkansas Apple Dwarf. I purchased this variety mainly because it's supposed to be rust resistant. So I want to see. It's last year, I think it was maybe right here. I moved it a little bit more, but it's doing much better than it was last year. Full leaves, all that good stuff. And then back here we have, what is this? The all-in-one almond tree. I do want to eventually push this back a little bit more once we redo the fence here. And then we have this rhododendra. That's actually ours, but yeah, we got to put the fence back. But I love how it drapes over the fence, and when it's in bloom, it's these big, pretty pink blossoms. Along the rock wall here at the bottom, we have the asparagus, and I had planted it in a different method. Usually you dig a very deep hole to put your asparagus in, and I actually just laid it down and topped it off with some compost, and it's working really well. I'm going to top it up again this year with some more compost, but it all looks really healthy. I have some up there as well. There's some more over there, but this area gets really weedy very quickly, so you kind of have to stay on that. Then we have some beautiful purple and pink phlox. I do need to get more to continue it along the full length of the wall, but I like this. Last year it was eaten up by groundhogs, so you couldn't even see all these beautiful blossoms. Here's the nuisance. I forgot what these are called, but they wrap around everything and it will strangle your plant if you don't stay on top of it. So hopefully I could plant something up here that gives the rest of the bed some shade. That way these won't even get to thrive. You want to get a nice close-up of the tulips. They are on their last leg here. They might become sacrificial play soup for Maya. But while they were in their nice, beautiful bloom period, we definitely enjoyed seeing them. I think next year I'm going to plant a little bit more of the sun lover in there just to get a nice blend of the orange and yellow. Hopefully once this is done, then the alliums could come up, and maybe I could even border this with something a little bit shorter. Maybe a perennial, maybe an annual, we'll see. So I hope it's not too noisy, neighbors doing their lawn work, but I really just want to get this video completed. We just planted this area up together. It's looking really nice. We had a nice rain shower last night. Everything is standing up nicely, so I'm pretty happy. I have to move some of these asters from the back. The way I planted it was just not smart, because the blueberry is going to need this space in the back. So I'm going to take some of those asters and move them down to that bottom bed. But here we have the broccolis, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to take off these cages. And I also see some tomatoes coming up in between because this bed was mostly filled with soil from the compost. So at the end here we have the strawberries. These are all from runners that I just kind of stuck down here. They were puny, not the best runners. I just delayed way too much on that. But we will see what they give me this year. If it's not good, then I'll probably pop them in the green stalk or just toss them. Here we have the garlics. This is the elephant. Then we have some German hardy. We have some Romanian. I think this is also German, and some other varieties back there. We could go more into detail of the different garlics when I actually do the harvesting, but all of them are looking really good. The only ones that are having a little bit more trouble than the others is the ones over here. And that's mostly because they do need to be fertilized more than the ones that are in ground. This is a small space for them to be in anyways, and I have not been on top of fertilizing them. So garlic is less hands-off when you're putting it in a container versus when you're planting it in ground. So here I also planted up some tulips. They had more of a harder time. They kept getting eaten. I had the cages that I have over the broccoli over these initially, but after some time I just kind of gave up. I think next year I'm definitely going to move these either over to the other side or some way in front. But here we have the Grand Perfection, and I think initially I thought they would be taller than the red variety, but this has a nice yellow and a red blend. I really like that one. And then behind it we have some yarrow and some echinacea. This also had a label and it did not come up last year, so I thought it's not coming up, but here it is. And then we have the Blu-ray blueberry that's doing really good. I just planted that a couple months ago actually. Here is the Blu-ray blueberry. What did I say that one? No, that's the blue crop. This is the Blu-ray. Here we also have the Grand Perfection Triumph tulip and the red variety of tulip. And this is the Merlot tulip. And then the only other one that I'm supposed to have here is the Temple of Beauty. And I think they may be somewhere here, but they haven't opened up as yet. But everything is looking really good. And then back here is the Patriot blueberry. And then we have some artichoke here. And lastly, some alliums. And I believe this may be a purple variety of alliums. Back here I planted some celery. They're looking good, popping up out of the straw. And then here we have a volunteer potato. Okay. Yeah. So here is the area that I haven't touched yet. I wanted to make like a nice circle for this. I think this is a Van Sweet cherry. And here we have a Rainier cherry. I was initially thinking of selling it, but I think I'm just gonna leave it here. And I have some climbing rose in the corner here and there, but I also think I'm gonna move those and switch it to maybe some hydrangeas. I'm not sure. Down there we have some oregano, some thyme, and some volunteer chamomile. But all in all, this area has to be cleaned up. We're planning to do kind of the same rock roll design at the end here, and then make a nice clear path, clear up the excess bushes and all that stuff. And you've pretty much seen what's on the deck. It hasn't changed. Still growing some bok choys and still have a lot of stuff that I need to plant. Here we have some elderberries, 2 different varieties. I think I have the Nova. Yep, the Nova, and what's this one? And the York. These are both from Stark. Here we have the Bartlett pear, a Emily Bront rose, or Bronte rose, that I think I'm going to move. Oh, also echinacea, or no, these aren't echinacea. This is, I think it's a Black Eye Susan. And then we have either a peony or, yeah, a peony. So I have to move this out into the sun a little bit more. But, oh, sorry. Come down here. There's so many things in little pockets that I can forget. We have some asparagus here. And then we have the boysenberry that is flowering, blossoming nicely. This is really pretty. I put a 5-foot obelisk in here. I had a 7-foot one, and it just kind of, the boysenberry wasn't filling it up enough. It looked weird. So I switched it out to this 5-footer, and I think it looks a lot better. And eventually I think it'll come up even higher. And then I put one of the Emily Bront rose in a pot here. I have to do a lot of cleanup here. And here are some flowers waiting to go in right here. Okay, I think we are ready to finally go up to the front. You can see so this is a solar, what is it called? Like a solar water fountain attachment thing. Got it off Amazon, I think like $11, but it attracts, you know, all the beneficial insects and the birds. Sometimes I see even the bees taking a drink there. We will address this in another video. I just kind of went to my friend's aunt's house and she was moving. She had good soil, so I took some soil and I took some plants. This is the area that most likely will get done next year. And I'll put maybe some shade-loving roses or hydrangea in here. Okay, so for the front, we have a blended mix of tulips. This one is the Irie de Flora. I don't know, I'll pop a picture up with the name, or I'll put the name on the screen for you guys. But it's a nice blend. It has some pink, some white, some orangey pinks in there. And then in between, I went ahead and planted some strawberries. You can see them here. I think these are the All-Star, if I'm remembering correctly. And then we have some volunteer bachelor buttons. This is Feverfew. I started this from seed last year. It produces some beautiful like white kind of yellow flowers. And then here's some artichokes that are just kind of taken over. I had a lot of garlic last year and I didn't plan out well where I would put them. I didn't realize that I would have space. So I popped these garlics in the front. This is the music variety. And then I have 3 pomegranates, a Russian, the sweet in the middle, and I forgot the variety over here at the end. And then in between, I planted the That's Love, right where your foot is. I planted some, no, you're not, no, you're stepping on it. It's not, it didn't come up yet. I planted the That's Love variety of gladiolus. They're nice and pink, and I think that will go well. Seems like coincidentally I've made this area pretty pink. I also put some artichoke up here just to kind of mirror from that side. And then we have some peony here, and it's normal, very normal to see the ants on your peony blossoms because they like the sweet nectar that's in there. We also have another Feverfew here. some volunteer bachelor buttons, another Emily Brunt, my favorite variety of roses. And then we have the azaleas blooming here. I also popped some feverfew here. And I initially took out these, hostas. I initially thought I took them all out, but they still popped out. But I like the difference between both leaves together. I think they work well. And then here we have another sun lover tulip. This is on its very last leg. Yeah, and then some hostas back here, some feverfew, and then some dwarf cherries in the front that we're replacing from this. There was a holly, Japanese holly here that we took out. And then down here, we have some daylilies that was already here. I did not plant those, but I definitely do need to do some separation. And then if you come up here, I have some animals that are digging. But I also have the sequoia variety of strawberries along with 3 different varieties of onions. This bed needs some watering. It looks pretty dry, and some weeding. And then I have a Raja variety of banana here from Willis Orchard. We have reached the end of our first official garden tour for the season. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.